And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
Oh.
Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of this moment.
Let's start with something that no one saw coming. Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most powerful figures in the music industry, arrested and taken into federal custody. The man who's dominated the hip-hop world for decades, who built an empire from the ground up, found himself on the wrong side of the law. But the real question that's making waves isn't just about his arrest. No, the conversation has shifted to something much bigger, a betrayal from someone incredibly close to him. And trust us, this twist has everyone talking.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Oh, yeah, no.
So here's how it all went down. Diddy was arrested in New York City after months of speculation about his involvement in multiple scandals. But here's the thing, he didn't just get picked up on the street. This wasn't some random, sudden arrest. He was staying at a high-end hotel, laying low, thinking he had time to sort things out when suddenly, federal agents swooped in, arresting him on charges that are still sealed as of now. But sources claim they're connected to some serious allegations. People close to him, including his own lawyer, had already hinted that Diddy knew something was coming. That's why he relocated to New York just days before. He was preparing for it, but still, no one expected it to happen like this.
I have information that he was arrested tonight at a Manhattan hotel. He is currently being processed. I heard from his attorney they are still maintaining his innocence. They said that in anticipation of these charges that Diddy relocated to New York last week.
The timing of Diddy's arrest has sparked a frenzy. People are asking why it took this long for the authorities to move in. Some are saying that his past, filled with lawsuits, accusations, and scandal after scandal, after scandal, after scandal, after scandal, should have landed him in this position years ago. So, why now? Well, this is where it gets interesting. Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, made it clear that the music mogul was fully cooperating with the investigation. He moved to New York willingly, showing that he had nothing to hide. Agnifilo said, "Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts." These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. But why would a man so powerful, so used to being untouchable, suddenly turn himself in like this? And why did it all seem to happen so quickly once he arrived in New York?
Okay, this is what I mean when I say people wake up every day and just volunteer lies. Diddy, how are we supposed to believe anything that comes out of your mouth? And furthermore, why should we not believe the rumors of things going in your mouth when you out here volunteering bold-faced lies? You would still be lying to us right now if it was no video. You didn't even apologize to Cassie in the video.
Fans and media outlets have started picking up on the peculiarities surrounding his arrest. Diddy, who's known for being meticulous and strategic in his every move, didn't just walk into a trap. Or did he? Some rumors are swirling that Diddy was lured into the city under false pretenses, and it's all pointing to a betrayal, and not just any betrayal. People are starting to believe that Jay-Z, a man who's been close to Diddy for decades, played a much bigger role in this than anyone could have imagined.
You pay those lawyers to know. Those lawyers know what he's going to beat, and those lawyers know what he ain't going to beat.
Jay-Z and Diddy have a long history together. They've shared the spotlight, dominated the industry, and built empires side by side. But there's always been an undercurrent of competition between them. Over the years, the two have juggled friendship and rivalry, each trying to outdo the other in every aspect, from their music careers to their business ventures. It's no secret that their relationship has been complicated. But to think that Jay-Z would go as far as to set up his longtime ally, that's where the story gets wild.
That's how hateful you guys are. How you step on anybody to stay on the top.
The theory that's gaining traction online is that Jay-Z, alongside Diddy's own inner circle, orchestrated the entire thing. Imagine this. Diddy, facing mounting pressure from multiple lawsuits and federal investigations, reaches out to his confidants for advice. Jay-Z, being the smooth operator that he is, convinces him that the only way out is to come clean, to cooperate with the authorities and work on a deal. After all, if anyone knows how to navigate the tricky world of fame and legal battles, it's Jay-Z. He's been through it all, from legal issues to business setbacks. He tells Diddy that laying low in New York, making the right connections, and playing nice with the FBI might just save him. And Diddy, desperate and feeling cornered, listens.
After they are done with Diddy, Jay-Z is up next to be exposed.
But here's where the setup comes into play. According to the rumors, Jay-Z never had Diddy's back. Instead, he and a few key members of Diddy's entourage. people who've worked with him for years, saw an opportunity. The theory goes that they were all in on it. They knew the walls were closing in on Diddy, and they needed a way out, a way to protect themselves. So they made a deal, cooperate with the authorities, hand over Diddy, and in return, they'd walk free, no questions asked.
Is there any possibility that he walks away clean from this, that everything is dropped and he faces no charges or any prison time?
Not impossible. I mean, anything is possible, but I don't see that happening. I see him kind of going the path of R. Kelly, where again, for so many decades, he was able to act with impunity and just, with harming so many, young women.
Think about it. Jay-Z, known for his ability to stay clean in the murkiest of situations, would do anything to protect his legacy. And what better way to eliminate a competitor and potential threat than by handing him over to the feds? It's the perfect plan, cold, calculated, and effective. He convinces Diddy to come to New York, ensures that Diddy feels safe, and then feeds the authorities his exact location. By the time Diddy realizes what's happening, it's too late. He's arrested, and Jay-Z and the others, they walk away with their hands clean.
Okay, this is what I mean when I say people wake up every day and just volunteer lies. Diddy, how are we supposed to believe anything that comes out of your mouth? And furthermore, why should we not believe the rumors of things going in your mouth when you out here volunteering bold-faced lies? You would still be lying to us right now if it was no video. You didn't even apologize to Cassie in the video.
This theory isn't just a wild fan fiction. It's getting more believable by the hour. People are dissecting every move Jay-Z has made in the weeks leading up to Diddy's arrest. His sudden silence on the matter. The cryptic messages he's posted online, even his latest business moves are being analyzed for signs that he's distancing himself from Diddy. It's all adding up to one conclusion. Jay-Z betrayed Diddy, not out of spite, but out of survival.
Industry talk, there's a lot of people who have worked for him. There's been stories around, which is, not necessarily unusual.
Let's not forget the history between these two. Jay-Z and Diddy have always been seen as the kings of hip-hop, but behind the scenes, their relationship was far more complex. Both men have had their fair share of scandals, though Jay-Z has always seemed to come out on top, no matter what. And now, with Diddy facing potentially career-ending charges, it's easy to see why some believe Jay-Z might had a hand in pushing him over the edge.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past.
And it's not just Jay-Z. The idea that Diddy's own team might have sold him out isn't far-fetched either. Over the years, Diddy's circle has been filled with people who've benefited greatly from his success. But as the scandals piled up and the pressure from authorities increased, some of those closest to him may have seen an opportunity to save themselves. Rumors are circulating that Diddy's arrest wasn't just a random event. It was carefully planned by people who knew him better than anyone. They knew his routines, his whereabouts, and most importantly, his weaknesses. It's entirely possible that Diddy's inner circle cut a deal to protect their own futures, sacrificing Diddy in the process.
You can't just keep changing the top layer. You got to do some real internal work, and you have all the money, all the resources to have access to the best everything. Stop spending the money and using the resources to attempt to cover up your lies, and start using the money and the resources to deal with your truth.
There's also the strange timing of everything. Why did the authorities wait until Diddy was in New York to make their move? Why not arrest him in Los Angeles or Miami, where he spends most of his time? Some are suggesting that the timing was no accident. It was part of a larger plan to ensure that Diddy had no way out. Once he was in New York, under the impression that he was working out a deal, his fate was sealed. The authorities had all the information they needed, thanks to the betrayal from those he trusted most.
Nor did you apologize for lying that you didn't do what you knew you was on tape doing. So who was this apology for? I'll tell you who it was for. Diddy's ego, Diddy's brand. Diddy and his handlers are looking at this all wrong.
What makes this theory even more chilling is the realization that Diddy may have walked straight into a trap. He thought he was getting ahead of the situation, working with his legal team to clear his name. But in reality, he was being played. Jay-Z and others in his circle knew that the only way to save themselves was to offer Diddy up on a silver platter. And now, Diddy is left to face the consequences alone, while those who betrayed him walk free. It's the ultimate betrayal. And it makes you wonder, just how deep does this conspiracy go? Could it be that Diddy's entire downfall was orchestrated by the people he trusted most? Or is this just another wild theory that fans are running with? Either way, the timing, the circumstances, and the players involved make it hard to ignore.
The issue is, it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
But here's the kicker. Even if Diddy was set up, there's no denying that his hands aren't clean. Sure, maybe Jay-Z and his team saw an opportunity to save themselves, but the truth is, Diddy has been involved in some serious scandals throughout his career. He's no stranger to controversy, and his history of questionable behavior has made him an easy target. So even if this was a betrayal, it's possible that Diddy's past actions made him vulnerable to it in the first place. This isn't a man with a spotless past. For years, Diddy has been walking a tightrope between success and scandal, and many would argue that he's been teetering on the edge of downfall for far too long. So, was this latest incident really a surprise? Or was it just the inevitable outcome of a long history filled with questionable behavior? Let's dive into Diddy's past, where the red flags have been popping up since the beginning of his career, and see how all of this might have been a ticking time bomb just waiting to explode. Diddy's rise to the top wasn't just about music and talent. Sure, he's a master at making hits and building brands, but his journey was never without its darker sides. From the early days of Bad Boy Records, Diddy was no stranger to controversy. He's been tied to countless legal battles, some of which have included violence, financial disputes, and major falling outs with other big names in the industry. One of the most notorious episodes that people still talk about today involves his connection to that infamous club incident in New York back in 1999. If you've been paying attention to hip-hop history, you know the story. Diddy, along with then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, was involved in a nightclub altercation that quickly escalated into chaos. Shots were fired, people were injured, and Diddy found himself at the center of a massive investigation. He was eventually acquitted of all charges, but not without leaving a cloud of suspicion behind him. For some, this incident marked the beginning of Diddy's long-standing reputation for getting involved in dangerous situations, but somehow always managing to escape without major consequences. And it wasn't just the nightclub brawl. There's been no shortage of whispers about Diddy's involvement in other shady dealings over the years. His name has been linked to a string of lawsuits, many of which were settled quietly out of court.
New at 5, the legal troubles continue for Sean Diddy Combs tonight after a judge ordered the music mogul to pay $100 million to a Michigan man who says that he was assaulted by Combs in '97.
According to court documents, Derek Cardello Smith says Combs then assaulted him during an after party at a Holiday Inn in Detroit. But Combs never responded to the lawsuit in court.
From allegations of physical altercations with employees to disputes over contracts and money, Diddy's empire hasn't been built without leaving a trail of burned bridges in its wake. It's like every time he faces legal trouble, he somehow manages to slither out, avoiding the full consequences. Some have even speculated that his connections within the industry, and perhaps even outside of it, have helped him stay out of prison all these years. And that's where things start to get really interesting. Rumors have been swirling for years that Diddy might have been protected by something bigger than his own legal team. There's been speculation that he's had a long-standing relationship with law enforcement, particularly the FBI. The theory goes that Diddy might have been feeding information to the authorities in exchange for his own protection. Now, think about it. This could explain why Diddy, despite being involved in so many questionable situations, always seemed to come out unscathed.
But we've also heard that there's some secret lawsuit going on in New York City as it relates to...
If you believe the rumors, Diddy was playing both sides, running his empire while quietly cooperating with the FBI to keep himself out of real trouble. And it's not just fan theories floating around online. There's been talk within the industry that Diddy's connection to law enforcement was an open secret. Some insiders even claimed that it was one of the reasons other artists and associates started distancing themselves from him in recent years. People were getting nervous, wondering if Diddy's close ties to the feds might one day come back to haunt them. So if Diddy was indeed acting as some kind of informant, it would explain why he managed to stay in the game for so long, despite all the dirt surrounding his name.
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in, every bit of it.
But here's where things take a turn. If Diddy was an informant, why would he suddenly find himself arrested? Some say it's because his usefulness had run its course. Maybe the FBI no longer needed him, or maybe he broke some kind of unspoken deal. Either way, if the authorities were protecting him before, they certainly weren't anymore. Others think that Diddy's alleged connections to law enforcement were never that deep, just a convenient excuse that allowed him to keep skirting accountability. Now, with the pressure mounting from various lawsuits and investigations, the walls were closing in and not even his rumored friends in high places could help him anymore.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was up. I hit rock bottom.
It's also worth noting that Diddy's personal life has been just as chaotic as his professional one. Over the years, he's been linked to multiple high-profile relationships, many of which have ended in public drama. His relationships have often been stormy, and it's no secret that he's had more than a few messy breakups. In some cases, former partners have even hinted at controlling behavior, though none of these accusations have ever stuck. However, it's just another example of how Diddy's life has always walked the line between success and scandal.
Basically what that means is the money that they're saying Diddy has to start paying this guy on October 1st, right. Diddy's team is like, hold on, we need an emergency conversation about why this should not have been granted. And they awarded him a TRO, which basically meant that Diddy's team was not allowed to sell any property in that state or anything related to what could be used to pay the plaintiff.
And then there are the countless rumors surrounding Diddy's business practices. Let's be real, no one builds an empire as big as his without stepping on a few toes along the way. Over the years, several artists who were once signed to Bad Boy Records have come forward to accuse Diddy of unfair business practices. Some have claimed that he took advantage of young, inexperienced artists, locking them into contracts that benefited him more than them. Others have accused him of manipulating situations to ensure that he always came out on top, even if it meant leaving his artists in the dust. Take, for example, the saga with the LOX. This legendary hip-hop group was one of Bad Boy's biggest acts in the late 90s, but behind the scenes, things weren't as smooth as they appeared. The group famously clashed with Diddy over their contract, accusing him of unfairly profiting off their work while keeping them trapped in Bad Deal. It got so heated that they even went public with their grievances, calling out Diddy during interviews and demanding their release from Bad Boy. And while they eventually got out of their contract, the drama left a lasting stain on Diddy's reputation as a businessman.
I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
But the most explosive claims about Diddy's past are tied to the long-standing theory that he played a role in some of the darkest moments in hip-hop history. We all know about the tragic fates of two of the biggest names in rap, Tupac and the notorious B.I.G. For years, there has been speculation about the involvement of key players in these incidents, and Diddy's name has come up more than a few times. Let's break this down. Back in the 90s, the East Coast-West Coast feud was at its peak and tensions were high. Diddy was at the center of it all, as the head of Bad Boy Records and the close friend and business partner of the notorious B.I.G. When Shakur was attacked in 1994 and later lost his life in 1996, rumors started flying about the role that various East Coast figures, including Diddy, might have played in the escalating violence. And when Biggie himself was taken out in 1997, just months after Shakur, the speculation only grew. Some have theorized that Diddy knew more than he let on, possibly even orchestrating certain events to protect his empire.
The only man currently facing charges in the case, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, claims that Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, paid for a hit on Tupac.
While none of these allegations have ever been proven, they continue to haunt Diddy's legacy. Even today, people still whisper about the possibility that Diddy was involved in something far bigger and more sinister than anyone can imagine. And as much as he tries to distance himself from the past, these rumors just won't go away.
Diddy is now being sued in addition to what we just talked about by Dawn Richards. You guys will remember her. She was a part of Making the Band.
Dirty Money.
Dirty Money, the Danny Kane era. So basically what she is alleging, she's alleging a lot of different things.
So here's where we're at now. Even if Diddy was framed in this latest incident, he's not exactly innocent. His past is filled with questionable behavior, legal battles, and connections to some of the most notorious events in hip-hop history. Whether he was set up or not, it's clear that Diddy's history has made him a prime target. People are always looking for a way to take down the powerful, and in Diddy's case, his own actions might have given them exactly what they needed.
Named Diddy 77 times in court documents related to Tupac.
There's also the possibility that this latest arrest could be connected to his alleged role as an informant. If Diddy was indeed feeding information to the feds, perhaps this was all part of a larger plan, either by the authorities or by those within his circle who felt it was time to cut ties. Maybe Diddy's time as a protected figure had run out, and now he's facing the consequences of a lifetime of controversial decisions. One thing's for sure, Diddy's current legal troubles aren't happening in a vacuum. They're the culmination of decades of rumors, scandals, and accusations that have followed him throughout his career. Whether or not he was betrayed by his closest allies, whether or not he was set up, Diddy has always lived on the edge. And now, it seems like that edge has finally caught up to him. So, what's next for Diddy? Will he be able to fight these charges and come out on top like he's done so many times before? Or is this the end of the road for one of hip-hop's most influential figures? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The truth, whatever it may be, is bound to come out. And when it does, the world will be watching.